Everyone, and welcome to another video. Also, don't forget to check out Mickey's video tonight. So we left off in verse 7 last time. We're going to be starting off in verse 8. So we left off where it says that someone's dwelling will not be cut off if they trust in the Lord and accept correction. And understanding the two forms of judgment that may or may not be taking place here is very interesting to look at. I'm still meditating on it and fully grasping the understanding, because as we've been studying this, we realized that God will make a certain city a desolation and turn it back to nature, where animals will be in the dwelling that's ruins for the wicked person that God cut off. And we don't, it says that we, it says, surely you will fear me, you will accept correction, then your dwelling will not be cut off. And there may be another form of judgment, maybe a prophecy, maybe something happening in the present day. And it's very interesting studying this. It's a very deep subject. And in my opinion, we're going to be starting off where it goes back into the day of the Lord, the end times, when the great white throne judgment will happen and everybody will have to bow their knee. It says in Zephaniah 3:8, therefore wait for me, declares the Lord, for the day when I rise up to seize the prey. For my decision is to gather nations, to assemble kingdoms, to pour out upon them my indignation, all my burning anger, for in the fire of my jealousy all of the earth shall be consumed. For at that time I will change the speech of the peoples to a pure speech, that all of them may call upon the name of the Lord and serve him with one accord. From beyond the rivers of Cush, my worshippers, the daughters of my dispersed ones, shall bring my offering. And it sounds like just from distant places all across the world, because it's saying the dispersed ones, which, like I said before, this is a very deep book, and some things are a little hard to fully understand, because we're also talking about the revelation here. We're talking about the time when the day of the Lord will happen, but also maybe a time when there will be a desolation or a people cut off. And that, I'm still meditating on that, of course, and there's other places that it mentions that, and it's interesting being able to study this with everybody. It says that on that day, the day of the Lord, you shall not be put to shame, because the deeds by which you have rebelled against me. For then I will remove from your midst your proudly exalted ones, exultant ones, and you shall no longer be haughty in my holy mountain. And this makes me think of ones that are full of pride. See, when you're humble and you come to the Lord and you're humble and you're full of meekness, he will remove the proudly exalted ones, the ones that are full of pride. And I want my deeds to be forgiven. I don't want to be put to shame. But I will leave in your midst a people humble and lowly, full of peace. They shall seek refuge in the name of the Lord. Now, this is another place where I start thinking of another form of judgment, because it almost sounds like present tense. It says, those who are left in Israel, they shall do no injustice and speak no lies, nor shall there be found in their mouth a deceitful tongue. For they shall graze and lie down, and none shall make them afraid. And that's really interesting, because we have seeking refuge in the Lord, making the Lord our strength. and being humble and lowly at the same time, because my hope comes from God. And it's amazing seeing what all the power that God has in our lives through judgment, and what we can do to be hit on that day of the Lord's anger, and how, like it says here, that there shall be found in their mouth a deceitful tongue. It says, nor shall there be. And God is calling for us to be humble and for us to be meek, because the exultant and prideful ones are the ones that will be removed from us. And it's interesting reading just how it says, like, there will be people left grazing the fields, the ones that God did not put his anger towards. And this is what makes me think of that second form of judgment, a present judgment, because it says that after the destruction that the fields will be for shepherds and sheep, which doesn't sound like the end judgment, where, as we read, that God will destroy, that all the earth shall be consumed, where we read that. Now, the shepherds and the sheep and grazing in the fields and the shepherds working doesn't sound like the earth being consumed, and there might be a time where God has to put his anger toward a certain person, which we see a lot in the Old Testament, but it might be referring to a present judgment too. And that's something that I've been meditating on and searching in the scriptures for. And it's always about rightly dividing the word of truth and realizing there's a time when God is going to destroy the earth and the judgment's going to take place. We're going to have to account for our deeds. We want to be humble. We want to accept correction, as verse 7 says. And we have to realize, as we've been reading through this whole book, we have to really take recognition of this judgment. It's very serious, and Zephaniah emphasizes that. Because God's decision is to gather nations, to assemble kingdoms, and to pour upon them his indignation, his burning anger, and this will take place. God will do good, and he will do evil. And all people will come to God, and the proudly exalted ones will be removed. And this is just really powerful to repeat how the power of God and how just and how he has the power to forgive the humble and the lowly. And as we're wrapping up these verses that we read today, I just really enjoy being able to read the word with everybody that watches my videos. And I hope everybody has a blessed night. Thanks everyone for watching.